Firuze. You try it, Brian.
It's so much more fun to let you try. Firuze. Firuze.
Yes.
Wait,
You
how come
said
I
it
don't get a
perfectly.
yes? How come I didn't get a yes? Yes.
Because I thought you knew that it was already great.
Oh, okay, good. Nice. Good answer. Firuze. So if Firuze is like, if I ask her, I said, what did you have for lunch? And she's like, well, today was a special day because after I picked my brother up from the strip club, we went to lunch and we got sandwiches. I have to interrupt her. Do you understand that? I have to be like, where'd you pick him up from? Like, I have to.
Only in necessary moments.
Yeah, so be cool.
Yeah.
Be cool, man. Be cool. It's not like I'm like, she's gonna tell me her bench press and I'll be like, oh, today I did bench and I did 2 pounds. I'm not that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy, at least. I'm not one-upping someone. I'm not talking to hear myself talk. I'm trying to keep the flow going, and I'm trying to listen to the guests and keeping the interesting parts alive, the threads.
I'm excited for this.
Very nice to meet you. I'm Sevan. I used to work at CrossFit, and that's Brian, and he used to work at CrossFit too. And in the square above that the rest of the world can't see, but I think you can see, is Ryan Jevning, and he wants to work at CrossFit. He wants to go to the CrossFit Games.
Everyone does.
And Firuze. Firuze.
Yeah.
She is going to correct me if I'm wrong, but she is a practitioner of the lifestyle methodology called CrossFit, and she accidentally turned into a professional athlete. That's kind of like, I mean, that's the story of my life. Like I never did you ever really want to be anything?
No, actually, at all.
Yeah,
at least not in CrossFit.
No, but I mean, did you ever have any goals to be like anything? Like I never had any goals. Like I remember, like when I was little, someone would be like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I'm like, police officer, firefighter. But then once I was like out of that phase, like my whole life, I've never wanted to be anything. I'm not like, well, I want to be a surgeon and go to Africa and help little kids. Like
I'll take it back. Then in that case, yes. In that case, many things.
Let me hear it.
When I was younger, I wanted to be. Because my only real sport that I have passion for is volleyball. And when I was younger, I would, be watching volleyball, USA volleyball on TV. And I was like, I want to be an Olympian. I want to be a USA. Because I thought, why not? But that's how much I that was the one thing. And then from that, it turned into, little things. Eventually I wanted to become a professional in the healthcare field. I wanted to pursue medicine, and then I wanted to pursue chiropractor, and then I want to pursue physical therapy. So it's always been in the realm of health and healthcare and working with people. And it kind of continues on. But right now I figured out I could be okay in CrossFit sometimes.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Are you still teach? Oh, man, you look so young. Holy cow.
So it's all the most beautiful words. Last year I was doing some science prereqs that I want to get under my belt for future goals. But someone had asked me what high school I went to, and I told them, and they're like, "Oh, how's your freshman year going?" I was like, "Well, I'm 26."
Wow.
So at the time last year, so they thought I still get confused as an 18-year-old, which is so amazing. I love that.
What ethnicity are you? What are your parents?
My mom is Mexican and my dad's Iranian, so half Mexican, half Iranian.
Oh wow,
that's my mix.
Are either of them first generation?
Yeah, both actually.
Oh, holy cow! How did they meet?
Yeah. My dad ended up meeting my mom. He went to medical school in Guadalajara, Mexico. And he was there for, he had been there for his medical school 4 years, then a little bit of residency after. And within 3 weeks before coming back to the States, he had met my mom. He met my mom, and in 3 weeks he proposed, and he brought her back to Ohio. He brought her to Ohio.
Wow. Holy cow.
That's how that happened.
On your dad's side, did they basically leave Iran during the whole like uprising? Like what that was in the late 70s, right?
Yeah, they had left. I actually don't know when they had left Iran, but my grandparents, he's a general surgeon, my grandma, a nurse, they had left Tehran, and they had left. They eventually went to England for a little bit, and then they came over to the States, and they started their life here in the States.
Man, the world's such an amazing place.
Incredible.
It's such an amazing place. I wish more people would appreciate how freaking amazing it is. Listen, people, man, these are her parents. No one in her life has had it easy. Nobody in her family has had it easy. Like, I mean, let me rephrase it. Everyone in her family has had it really, really hard. And I'm like, just not that you should feel sorry for anyone ever, but it's just like, it's like those last 13 miles in a marathon, right? What is a marathon? 26.2 miles?
Yeah,
right. Any jackass can do the half marathon.
No, I'm very blessed, and I'm very lucky, and it's cool to come from roots that you earn what you have, right? You have to work for what you want, and you eventually just earn what you work for. So both sides, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. A lot of people, great, strong women and men in my family I get to look up to.
Does your dad have one of those funny Middle Eastern accents like my dad?
Actually, no, because he was no, he doesn't.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's great. I mean, I can't hear it, but all my friends can hear it, and I just like hearing them talk about it.
My mom has the cutest Mexican accent, though,
all
which forever will love. But no, my dad, he actually speaks. My first language is Spanish, and my dad speaks. He learned Spanish in Mexico, so he actually picked up Spanish, and he speaks it like a native. He doesn't speak Farsi.
He doesn't speak Farsi?
No.
Oh, interesting. How old is your dad?
He's 62.
Is he still? 62. Is he practicing medicine still?
Yeah, he's a neurologist.
Oh wow, this is. And is he fascinated by what you're doing?
Yes, actually, at first he wasn't. I'll say that. At first he was very, I guess, against it. He didn't know why I was spending so much time at the gym. It wasn't good for me. The whole too much of weightlifting is bad for the body or the joints.
Sure.
And then eventually he would always come to like my local competitions. I mean, at the time, it took me a year or two to, sign up for local competitions in Cleveland, and he would always come, always support, cheer me on. And then he started to play rugby. He wanted to play rugby with the boys, like the 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-old young guns. And he found rugby as a neurologist, kind of crazy. And he thought, well, nothing wrong with rugby.
Dangerous. That shit's dangerous.
That's like concussions all the time. That's like, but no. And then, so because of that, one of the guys on the rugby team they started to use CrossFit for some training and conditioning. And so I couldn't get him to do it, but sure enough, a friend that plays rugby could get him to do it. And he fell in love with CrossFit, signed up to a gym, and now he does CrossFit. And every open season, we compare scores. He comes home and compares his open score to mine, and we go at it.
I know some people are going to find this hard to believe, or maybe not even be able to understand this, but like I do not think of CrossFit as a sport at all. Like it's for me. Like I just, no matter how many games athletes I hang out with, it's just not a sport to me. When I got fired from CrossFit, I got a text message from Rosa, the new CEO guy, and he said something along the lines, "Thank you for everything you've done for this sport." And I thought, oh, holy shit. Like Greg would have never, ever in a million years sent a text like that. He would have sent me a text like, "Thank you for all the lives that you've saved," or "Thank you for being so selfless and sharing the good word of health." And because that's just where I came in at. I was talking to someone else. I'll try to use a less gross analogy than I used with one of my male guests yesterday, because I am sexist and I treat men and women differently. I'll use a more gentle, same analogy, but with more gentle words. My wife and I made 3 kids, right? We closed the bedroom door and we made 3 kids. And although it's like a really important part of my life, I wouldn't consider myself like a baby making machine. It's just something I do, but super powerful and important. And that's how I feel like the CrossFit Games are. Super powerful, super important. Super powerful, super important, the CrossFit Games. But really, for most people, and what made me kind of switch to this, it's interesting your dad's a doctor, and it's interesting that you're doing the games, and it's interesting that your dad said it was, boy, I'm going to connect a lot of dots here. Your dad said that he was concerned because it might not be healthy to be doing that nonstop. A couple days ago, we interviewed Josh and Jacob Hepner, and they both said that they basically haven't been lifting heavy weights for, I don't know how long they said, 4 months, and they feel the healthiest they've ever felt. Now, granted, those guys are older than you, and we know that doing anything to an extreme is going to put a lot of pressure on the body. But in one of the videos where you're doing an interview with someone, it says, I went to CrossFit Mentality, and Fee was my coach, and she was wonderful. So there's something like not a lot of athletes know that, both sides, and you know both sides. And you've even posted pictures of yourself working out in 2015. You came to CrossFit for the reason that I think of when I think of what CrossFit is.
Yes.
And
yeah.
And then you morphed into the game side. Do you still hold both, like near and dear to you?
Oh, it is. And that's kind of, yes, and yes, because I did start CrossFit the way that 99.9% of the people want to start CrossFit, and it's to, take ownership of their health and to feel good and to feel part of something great and positive and uplifting. And that's how I started as a 19-year-old. John Carroll, I was going to college. It was my first year. Just a lot of different emotions that kind of led me to CrossFit. But to put it in short, I just didn't feel good about myself, my body, who I was, mentally not in a good place, not surrounded by the best crew. A college freshman as a girl, it was hard to just find, where do I fit in and where can I, feel good. And that's kind of what allowed me to roll into CrossFit. And someone introduced a guy I was with at the time. At the time I was going to Lifetime Fitness, elliptical, treadmill, not finding fun, not finding success or consistency. He showed me a video and I pretty much was like, this is freaking cool. I want to do this. I want to have fun doing something good for myself. And that kind of led me to walking into my first community, dropping in, and just fell in love with just the fun of it. Like, I was finally having fun and feeling good and being around people, connecting with people that I had just met. And I'm walking away after the first hour, just smiling and having fun and creating new friendships. And that's really how it started. The first year I wasn't like, going all in every single day at the gym. I would maybe go in 3 times a week, and the other times I would be at school and maybe just go to my gym over there. And then it kind of pursued into something really, really great. But it started for health reasons and lifestyle, and just like anyone else.
Who's John Carroll? That's the name of the college. I just heard you say John Carroll and I couldn't place.
Yeah, John Carroll University is a Jesuit school, Jesuit university here in Cleveland.
And
Ohio.
Jesuit's like some sort of branch of Christianity. That's like a God school.
Yeah, it's pretty much a private. Yeah.
Has a big church. Okay. Guadalajara. That's for you, Christian. This is live on YouTube feed, so people can like talk shit. Like,
awesome.
So they were saying,
Who
I
are
dare
they
you to say.
talking crap about?
They wanted to hear me say Guadalajara, because you said it. So you said it like how like I pictured J-Lo to say it. Guadalajara.
Ooh, it just rolls off the tongue. Yep. Well, you did it rare.
And you said that you 2 things. Weren't you scared to go to a CrossFit gym? What was the first CrossFit gym you went to? And you said you weren't surrounded necessarily by good people, and yet it was one of those people that took you to your first gym.
Yeah, it was the first CrossFit gym that I walked into. It's the gym here in Cleveland, or Mayfield Heights, suburb of Cleveland, Crooked River CrossFit. And I was with a guy, so my boyfriend at that time.
I think I've dropped into Crooked River CrossFit before. As soon as you said that, I was like, I think I've been there. Yeah.
You've been to Cleveland?
Yeah, I've been to Cleveland many times, but
Oh, well, it's the only crooked river in Cleveland, so probably, maybe.
Wow.
So yeah, so
Cleveland, that's
and
the city in the middle of the country where Jake Paul's from?
yes,
Okay, yeah, I
the
heard of
world
it.
knows. The world knows now.
Okay, sorry. Nah. My mom's from Cleveland. I'm just talking shit.
Everyone's from Cleveland. Cleveland's awesome. And so yeah, and what I guess you asked, what did it mean? What does it mean by not being surrounded by great people? The people. John Carroll was a great school, and the girls and the people they just weren't interested in the same things that I was. The partying, the drinking, the weekends, the typical college life. Just something it just didn't make me feel good, and I lived that life, and then eventually I went through a breakup, and that just put me in a place where I was in a very dark place, and I was very depressed and very sad, and that led to very poor choices and habits and lifestyle, and that just domino effect there.
When you say
And
poor choices, you mean like ice cream late at night, like shit like that? Or you mean like wrist cutting?
not so much that deep, but I was definitely in. People thought I actually left John Carroll. Like, I remember someone asking me, like, "Oh, Fee, you still go here? I thought you left."
Oh,
Because I
wow.
just
Okay.
would try to be inside. I would avoid people or avoid situations. John Carroll's a very small school, so you see everyone. There's a running joke. It's like John Carroll High School, and I was just very sad, and some things that I wish never happened, and it just kept me very much to myself. And CrossFit helped kind of bring that life back, and brought some really cool people. I get emotional talking about it, so sorry.
It's good. It's good for the ratings. Very big
Part of my life.
She looks like a spunky J-Lo. Racist. So
Love J-Lo, so thank you.
that's from Brian. Just trying to lump all you Mexicans up in one pile. It's not cool. What's your boyfriend's name?
My boyfriend, Alex Ferrara, Italian man.
Oh, okay. Because he looks like he could be Iranian too. He looks like he could be related to Khalifa.
I tell him that all the time. He has like some like Mediterranean Arabic looking mix. His father is Italian, and he's just
But the
Italian
milkman wasn't. Or maybe whoever cuts his hair, maybe he goes to a Persian guy to cut his hair, so he gives him like the Persian cut, like the bias cut. Like when I would get my yeah, go ahead.
He has that like pretty boy cut though. I feel like a lot of pretty boys have the same cut.
Interesting.
Just like that sharp fade.
When I saw him, I was like, oh, this dude's for sure related to Khalifa. And Khalifa is Iranian, right? He's Iranian?
I have no idea. I didn't even know he was.
Yeah, I mean, for sure his dad is. His dad sounds like my dad. He got one of those funny accents.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's good to know.
So did you ever go to therapy for your shit, or just you're working it out through CrossFit?
Yeah, I kind of like during that time, there was a point that I considered, and I actually talked to my mom about it. Gosh, God forbid, talking to my dad about this, because on his end, and this is known kind of in Iranian culture, like school is like the top of the top, like it's the most important thing of your life, and if you don't do it, you are not doing what you're meant to do in this world, is kind of that. So I talked to my mom about I almost took a semester off just to give time for myself, and she had talked to me about it, and I said, you know what, like I'm going to continue for the year. And I used CrossFit and just going into class every single day, and being surrounded by that group. I would go to school and I would just get so excited to go to CrossFit. And yeah, I just use that to uplift me and make me feel good, and make me feel like, I have this purpose where I don't have to be sad. And it just, every hour was the best hour of my day. So that's something that I love pouring into. Wow, emotions, Fee, here you go. I love pouring that into people here at Mentality. So, and I guess I get emotional about it is because it came to me in a very dark moment. and it's cool to kind of use that and journey through it in so many great ways. I'm so sorry, I get emotional.
I just love it. I love it. Brian, you start crying too, Brian. Fucking this thing will go down as gold.
And I'm so known to be emotional over like things like this. So
when's the last time you had any alcohol? When's the last time you've been drunk? Not alcohol. When's the last time you've been drunk?
It's funny. I enjoy some wine every now and then, which was probably like actually after I realized I didn't qualify for the games. That was an emotional moment as well. After the last chance, a couple of our friends, we went out together. We went to some wineries, and I think I had about 3 glasses of wine, and I was not feeling normal. I was just,
did you cry?
No, I get more like happy. I just get like louder and happier, and yeah, just very full of life.
Listen to this. Listen how fucking crazy the listeners are. She's such a happy ray of sunshine. Dude, she's crying. Listen, that's Gigi Strong. And then Carolina Roca. I can't believe how cute she is. Dude, she's crying. Harry, she's so odd. Dude, hey, but you know what it is? I think I know what you guys are talking about. You know, like when it's raining, but then like the sun's up and there's like rainbows and shit? That's her. Like she's smiling while she's crying. So it's like we're seeing rainbows. We're seeing rainbows. We're seeing.
I love that. Oh,
waterworks.
Well, that just made me feel good.
Sevan, I want to read you a list.
Please. Thank you, Brian.
Becky Konzelman. Do you know who that is?
Oh, man, do I ever.
Michelle Letendre. Katrin David's daughter.
Okay.
Rebecca Voigt. Emily Bridgers. Christy Adkins. Margot Alvarez. Camilla Solomonson-Hellman.
Wait, who's
Saghafi.
that? Who's that? How come that's the first name I don't recognize? Who's that?
That's okay. She's from Sweden. She's a 4-time CrossFit Games athlete. She's currently pregnant.
Damn.
Saghafi. Laura Horvath. What do you think?
I think it's Laura Horvath.
Horvath. Excuse me. What do you think these 10 women have in common?
They're willing to do the show once and never again.
Those are prior to this year. Those are the last 10 24th place finishers at the CrossFit Games. And the reason I just kind of thought that was interesting as I was scanning through the.
Wow, those are big names.
That's exactly right. Those are big names that have all finished 24th at the CrossFit Games. And people, I think, often lose sight of the depth of the field. And when they talk about the cuts and whatever, that you can go pretty far down the Games roster in a certain given year, and you can find some very recognizable names. And in my opinion, it's important that we have those people and that they have the opportunity to have that placement at some point in their career so they can build upon it going forward.
Look what a great combination. Here I am trying to get you to talk about your deepest, darkest moments in life, and then Brian's like, "Dude, you're fucking amazing. Dude, look at these names that you share this space with." I love it. Brian, can you word it a little different?
I'm so happy you mentioned that. That's something that it's just to kind of go back to your point briefly. You do, as athletes, you lose sight of, you have a bad finish and it gets to you and it kind of eats at you a little bit, and it's cool for you to recognize that. I would have never known that. And those are names I've watched. I mean, not only have I gotten a chance to compete briefly with some of them, but watched them years and years before I even tapped into the sport. So thank you for that. That's incredible.
Brian, word that a little differently for me so I can get my head wrapped around again. You're saying in their first year at the games, all of those girls say that again? Not
necessarily their first year. Just in the last 10 years, in order, starting with Becky, coming all the way forward to Laura Horvath last year. Those just happened to be the 24th place finishers. And I was like, Fee's only been to the games once, and that was the place she took. So I thought it was kind of cool I have this spreadsheet that has all the finishers of the games from every year in an easy to access format. And, sometimes CrossFit talks about how we're trying to find the fittest. We don't care about the rest of the rankings. And I completely disagree with that statement. And I think it's important that all the athletes who make the games have opportunity to compete and sort themselves out amongst each other. And that sometimes some of the biggest names in the sport finish way far away from the podium. And that doesn't take anything away from the, in my opinion, incredible accomplishment it is just to finish 24th at the games.
Damn, you know what? I just gave this show a thumbs up. I just liked our own show. Can I do that? Hey, you know some shit, Brian.
What? I mean,
He knows a lot of CrossFit.
Wow. So where were we? Back to the Deep Dark Secrets. Okay, so in 2015, which is 6 years ago, you were 21 years old, and you found CrossFit. And and what happened? How? And you were basically using. Well, I want to go back to. Weren't you scared to go in?
No, not at all. Actually, I wasn't scared. I guess I wasn't scared because I really didn't. I was more excited. I was ready to try something new, and I've always been involved. I've always been more on the tomboy side. When I was younger, I would always want to play with the boys, pick up sports, baseball, football, backyard sports, everything. I was always so excited to try anything and everything, and that's always kind of how I've been. So when it came to CrossFit, I didn't even know much about the competing side of it. I just knew that I just saw a video of people doing really awesome things, and I wanted to do that too. And so I wasn't nervous. I was so excited. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into.
And then how long were you there before you ended up at Mentality, Scott Panchik's gym, and when and why did you switch?
Yeah, I was there just about a year or so.
At Crooked Penis
at
CrossFit?
Crooked River.
Okay.
Yeah, Crooked River CrossFit. I was there about maybe just over a year, around that time.
Fee, do they? Do they have a different kind of rope at that gym? It's like not the normal
Yes,
rope. They have like
it's
these
like
whiter.
manufactured
Yes.
plastic, not plastic. I don't even know what it is. Like fiber. It's yes. So you've probably
It's the only gym I've ever dropped into that had that kind of rope, and I thought it was.
You're like, I can't grip this.
Yeah. Anyway, wow. Okay.
Yep, that's right. So anyway, so I was there just over a year, and then so the reason that I was curious about I heard that Scott Panchik, opening up a gym 20 minutes away from my house, 25 minutes away, that instantly kind of perked my ears up a little bit, and obviously I knew how great of an athlete he is, and the fact that he was opening up his own community. It was kind of around the time that I had done some little local competitions for fun and to kind of give myself, something to work towards. And then at some point throughout that year at Crooked River, I got an understanding of what the Open was. This series of events, competitions, you could go to regionals, you could be at a competitive level. And that's where I would look. I just remember watching on my computer screen, like cheering for women that I had no idea who they actually were, but like being so supportive of them and excited to watch them and wanting to be one of them. And part of me was like, I could never do that. I don't come from some of these incredible backgrounds that a lot of athletes, take into the sport, whether it's a high level gymnastics, swimming, Olympic lift, whatever it is. But then the other part of me was like, well, I'm starting from nothing, and maybe, from nothing I could build something, and we all bleed the same. And so then I told myself, well, if I want to continue kind of that path, I definitely want to follow in footsteps that are following that as well, and be immersed in that kind of community and coaching, and hopefully, be led by one of the greater people in the sport, Scott Panchik. And sure enough, I made that move. And I remember just walking. I did a competition there. They had like a local competition. Scott hosted one of that at Mentality, and just the community there was so, I felt like I also made even more friends. People were so welcoming. It was just so warm and welcoming. And that's what I fell in love with there. And then kind of the conversations of wanting to join and checking out the gym. And I did my first Open with Scott judging some of my events, which was very exciting for me.
Did he know that you were coming there to up your game, or did you just kind of creep on him? Like, did you sign up first and then like were a member there? Like, did you know tell me how that unfolded.
Yeah, like the conversation where I told him I would love to do the Open there, not with any specific goal in mind, but I definitely wanted to be, I just told him I would definitely have small goals, and I want to become a better athlete and things like, I never told him like I want to go to the CrossFit Games one day. Like, it was never the first thing, but he pretty much had an understanding that I just was looking for more coaching and more things to hold me accountable to, and a better community, and then kind of unravel that potential. So, and then eventually, you know, within the year, I would take class. I was there. I joined. I took class every single day. I was coached by Saxon Panchek, Spencer Panchek, Scott would coach, and I would just take class every day. And the next open, I did the open. I don't know, however I placed, maybe 200, 300, something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, and so then, and then
What year
kind
was
of
that? Do you remember what year that was? Was that 2017?
I think that was like 2017. Yeah.
Okay.
20. So I would do like a bunch of little local competitions and use the mentality programming to just compete, right? To do these small competitions.
Ryan, isn't
And
that
then,
amazing? Like, I'm right, right? If you're top 300 in the world as a woman in the open, like, you're the shit, right?
I was looking at this. So I for you, was 2014 your first open?
it should have been, yeah, I think so. Yeah, 2014.
That's what
So-
on the game side. That's what it has, but sometimes it doesn't go back all the way.
So you did the open your
Yeah.
very first year of CrossFit?
Yeah, that's when.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the year. That was
Wow.
So
1 year of
That was
CrossFit.
my first year also. She took 2,766 that year. I took 51,694th.
Wait, she took 2000s and you took 51st thousands?
51,000.
Holy shit. So she came in good. How did she be so good? How was she so good already? Was she in like an 18-year-old class or a 16-year-old class or something? Like, how can you be 2000th in the open your first year of CrossFit?
I don't even know what the events were that year. I just remember there was like burpees in there that I had some pull-ups in there, maybe toes. I don't know. I wasn't
Wow.
good, but maybe the events were just good for those 5 weeks. But yeah, 2014, and then
So
it kind of,
so we've
I
had the
improved.
same growth, and we've both improved year over year on the open. So I was trying to see if her relative improvement, how it was compared to mine. My best finish was this year 12,000 something. 2019 she was 24th. Her not only did she start a lot better than me, she also got much better than me, and her degree of improvement is significantly more impressive.
You were 24th in the open. Which year was that?
That was my rookie year at the games. That was 2019 where I first qualified.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That
incredible.
was it. That year kind of happened. I don't want to say on accident, but I wasn't shooting for the games that year. Like 2017 was my first team regionals, and after that team regionals, we didn't do incredible by any means, but I remember being like, oh, I definitely want to go 2018. Like 2018 is going to be my year individual. Like, I want to make it as an individual for regionals. Eventually, like, I started to voice all these things to Scott to go back to how did this all happen. And he took me on and mentored me, and he gave me more things to do. It got to the point where I just needed to work on more things. And I continued to take classes though. I competed at 2018 individual regionals by still going to the gym every day and being in classes every day. And then from there, I think I took like a 30th something finish. It was a very, very low finish. But then after that, I said, how cool would it be to make it to the games? Kind of in my mind, that would be awesome since the rules changed. And I just remember writing in 2019 before the open, someone asked me, like, what's your goal of the open? And then I wrote, I just want to hang with the top girls. So if that meant, top 100, that would be awesome. Top 50 would be great. And that was the year I was 24th in the open. And I made it without actually shooting for it necessarily.
If there's just as many people outside the United States who are doing the open as inside the United States, let's say it's 50% and 50% just for ease of math in 2014, and you took 2000th, and that was the first year you took it, that would mean that, like, there's only, and this is just really crude math, but there's only 20 people. This is your first year. You're just introduced to CrossFit, and there would be only 20 people in every state in the United States who are fitter than you as women. I mean, I find that just like, That's just
I thought
crazy.
that was
Like I walk into my local Starbucks, I'm like, yeah, bitches, I'm fitter than all you. But like you could like cross the border into California and be like, hey, I know only 19 of you bitches is fitter than me. Where are you at? I mean, like it's crazy. It's just nuts. I mean, because that's all we have. We're human beings. All we have is our body. The rest of this shit's a lie.
Mhm.
The rest of this shit's made up. So cool.
Which I think is what makes me so it makes me compete so excited, because you continue to get to tap into human potential that you never thought you, I guess, could do physically, and you get to see, the games unfold and people just performing in incredible ways. And every year it just got more exciting to just to see what more I could do and how much better I could get, for me, not for any other reason, because it's fun. Like, it was just fun for me. It was, I was out of sports. I wasn't playing, volleyball anymore. And which, I mean, high school volleyball was pretty much the most I ever got to. But it kind of gave you something to work towards, which was really cool.
You'd be screwed if you did steroids. You would be so screwed. Someone just wrote in here, I wonder if she's ever had a pimple. Yeah, she would be so screwed if she did steroids. We did a podcast. We did a podcast with a guy the other day who was just swearing that, like, he's like, just so many athletes are on steroids. And I keep seeing that over and over. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's just.
You probably watched Icarus.
Yeah, Fee got all juiced up for the game. She got all juiced up.
It's which unfortunately it happens to in the world of sport. That's something that unfortunately people will try to find a way to recover faster and become stronger. And that's
there's people getting injected with all sorts of crazy shit. All sorts of crazy shit, not just steroids. I saw the other day that the amount of money, I shouldn't say the other day. This is many years ago I saw this. I guess it's the other day also, that the amount of money Americans spend on sleep aids is more money than the entire GDP of Kenya.
Sleeping aids?
Sleeping aids. That's just sleeping pills, sleeping medications. That's how drugged up this country is. This country is so drugged up. It's crazy. I don't want to hear about steroids and CrossFit. You shut your face.
Notice that it goes back to that, like, that quick result, that quick fix, that instant, relief, whatever that is. Yeah. So no, I drink a lot of carbs though. I'll do carbohydrates all day. It's just giving me that boost.
Do I attack Brian or to let that go? You're 27. How tall are you?
5'1".
And how much do you weigh?
As of yesterday, 131.
And is that the heaviest you've been in your whole life?
No. The heaviest I was before starting CrossFit, and kind of within that first year. I was 155 was my heaviest, which is a lot for someone that's 5'1". For me.
And that wasn't so, like, I mean, if you were 155 now and you were working out, we would know it would be because of muscle. But this is pre-CrossFit, you're saying. Yeah. Yeah,
this was pre-CrossFit. This was poor eating habits, poor lifestyle, not sleeping much. This was not a healthy 155.
Brian would love to weigh 155. He just needs to put on 10 more pounds of muscle.
Come on, Sevan. How often do you update your CrossFit Games profile?
Not often. I don't think often at all. A couple years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think many athletes do. Whenever you did make it, you said you were 5'2", so I was wondering if you'd shrunk at all.
Oh, maybe I was being ambitious. No, I'm definitely 5.
When you're under 5'5", Brian, you don't understand the under 5. How tall are you, Brian? 6 foot?
5'10". But
when you're under 5'5", it doesn't matter what you say. We just say whatever we want. The rest of you all can just jump in a lake.
People ask me all the time. People ask me all the time, what's the ideal height and weight for a CrossFit Games athlete? What's the average height and weight of the women or men who've made the games? And I always say, like, this is what I think, but I don't really know. I mean, Fraser's Games profile always said 5'7", but now since he's retired, he's like, I think I'm 5'5". And I'm like, well, obviously, if the guy who's regularly in the top 10, or obviously the top 1, is saying he's 2 inches different in his height, that's statistically significant for one person. If everyone's off by an inch or two, who knows? I don't know. And so it makes it pretty difficult. And I always wondered why like this is the game site is just, it's like you could say whatever you want. I could put that I'm 6'5" on there and no one's ever gonna question it. They're just look and say, oh, this guy's 6'5". Wow, he's pretty good at pull-ups for 6'5" or something like
Oh,
that.
I wish you would do that. Would you do that? Switch yours to 6'5". That's awesome.
No, because I don't want to
I
be
think
offensive
people
to
just
Carl.
kind of like eyeball and they're like, I'm this.
But I think
look
that for the
this.
game, like I think that it would be, I don't know. I think it would. There's actually some like practical application if like once you qualify for the games that like you actually get measured and weighed when you show up or something like that, and we can actually keep a tally and say like, hey, over the years, the average height of women has actually increased steadily for the last 5 years, or the average weight has remained the same, or whatever. But we just are kind of arbitrarily guessing at what's optimal based on whatever you guys choose to say.
She is too skinny to win the games, though, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Tia's games profile's always said I think she's 135 or 137, but I don't think that's true. I think she's got to be closer to 145 or 147 at this point.
Dude, she's got to be. Fee has got to be one of the lightest girls ever to be in the CrossFit Games.
130? Yeah, that would
Yeah.
that would on a, according to whatever's recorded on most years that would be in the bottom 3 probably.
Bottom 3%.
People. Well, so
Bottom
40, yeah.
What's the
remember
lightest? Who's lighter
my-
than her? Who's lighter than? Sorry, Fee. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I just remember my lightest weight was my first year at, because I just remember feeling just very like small, teeny, and the training was hard and a lot, and I wasn't eating as much, which is kind of crazy to say. But I was at 127. I weighed myself before the games at 127. And that was almost at the lowest point, and I was like, I have to change something after this season.
What year was that?
2019.
Yeah, that is light, man. Holy cow, that is light.
I would guess, just looking at this year's games roster, that of the people who made the top 20, maybe Mallory O'Brien, Christy Aramo, Emma Carey are probably like the bottom 3, like right around that 130, 135 maybe. But 2 of them are 17 years old.
Yeah, it's something where after that year, I started to definitely hone in on what are the elements of, high performance athletes, like what are they doing? And one of the top things is how you own your nutrition and your recovery. And so I actually ended up getting connected with a nutrition coach, Mike Malloy from M2 Performance, and he has a lot of games athletes that he specifically works with as well. And that's kind of one of those things where he knows that lifestyle, he knows what the training volume looks like, he knows the stress on the body, and he's just, so as soon as I started working with him, and he realized, he goes, you are not eating enough. And it's crazy to say that eating over 2,000 calories is not enough, for obviously for the average person, plenty, but for athletes, I realized that I was probably almost like 1,000 calories off, from what I needed to be eating. And we started working together after my first year at the games. So, and the goal continues to be, and I feel like I try to stay away from hearing the, articles that are written and comments, but when it comes to strength, I'm usually like right at the bottom. And a lot of it has, because I am a lighter athlete, but I haven't, I guess, dedicated the time that I need to build to put on some mass, but also to really hone in on some strength work, which is why this year I'm very confident. I'm very excited for this year. A lot of good changes.
Sevan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Two things. So first of all, I pulled up the stats for the games athletes for this year. You guys tell me if you think that these are accurate. Tia Toomey's listed at 135. Kristen Holt is listed at 130. Sam Briggs listed at 135. You buying
There's no
this?
way Holta's 130.
You buying Sam Briggs at 135?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So there's
Her
no one
back
that's
weighs
holding
135 pounds.
So no one's holding these athletes accountable to update these. So that's why the weights we're just guessing, and it's very inaccurate. Carrie Pierce, 140 pounds. I don't think so.
I mean, maybe. I mean, she's tiny though, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. She's jacked, but I mean, is she bigger than Mallory O'Brien? Like if you stood
Mallory
them side by
O'Brien's
side?
listed at 145.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Carolyn
Okay.
Connors, 133. You might not know her very well, Sevan.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Christy Aramo's listed at 132.
She looks tiny, but not 132 tiny.
Turi Helgadottir's listed at 130, and Sasha Nieves listed at
It's
130.
interesting to hear, like,
Wow.
guys, like, guess how I believe for a fact, Christy and I are actually very similar when it comes to our size and our composition. And she's a muscle hamster. She's way more, but yeah, she's definitely one of those. I would say that Christy is definitely one of the tinier athletes. Kristen Holty, definitely one of the smaller athletes as well. I definitely, it's hard. You just never know sometimes too, though.
Right.
It's hard to guess with weight.
So anyway, so just to say, like, it's difficult to say what these athletes actually weigh and how often they're updating that to, or if they even care to, you know.
Danielle Brandon told us on the show that she was eating 1,200 calories a day, and that basically she almost 1,200 on the show, and that by the way, Ryan, you're killing it, by the way, on the YouTube, and and basically she was doing an assault bike workout, and she basically, I think, I'm paraphrasing, but fell off the bike, like she just crashed. She couldn't ride the bike anymore. She just crashed. And finally, one of her coaches was like, what the fuck is going on? You need a nutritionist. And I think she did the same thing. I think she had to double, basically, it sounded like she had to triple her food intake. I mean, basically, she was basically starving herself.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was eating 1,200 calories. She's been an incredible athlete, and 1,200. I think my breakfast is like 700 calories now.
Right. I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it either. I mean, I ate 1,200 calories of salami and cheese in a sitting.
And that's kind of the life of that side of performance that a lot of people don't see. They just see the performance side of the sport or CrossFit. And it's easy to undereat just because you're just active throughout the entire day, and training is hard. But yeah, it's sometimes, and depending on the person, there's people, you know, I know I went through a period in my life where I remember in high school, I would jot everything down in this little notebook, and I wanted to make sure I stayed under 900 calories every day, like 800, and I just would jot how many carrots I ate, how many celery sticks I ate. I would like little granola bar, and I just went through a period, like that point in my life, I was, 15 years old, 16 years old. I weighed 104 pounds.
Whoa.
And wow. I started to lose my hair. I started to be always cold. I was freezing. I was very bony. And that kind of point where I was scared of calories and scared of nutrition and scared of, gaining weight. And that at the time I thought was, what would make me feel good. And then, I put on 50 pounds, which is kind of crazy. And so I think it's hard when you have maybe some people, some women, some individuals have a history of maybe restricting themselves to feel a certain way or to not look a certain way. And you never know. It's definitely a crazy side of the sport and just life in general. I think it's hard. It's a conversation that needs to be had. And I think what's powerful is, individuals, women, men of all kinds being like, yeah, like food will fuel you if you do it the right way, if you balance it in the right way, and it could bring life back into your days, right? And as soon as I started to hone in on my nutrition, everything on the performance side and recovery started to elevate. Everything.
What about, did it have any effect on like emotions or mental clarity?
When it came to mental clarity, I remember I'd be yawning at like 1:00 in the afternoon. I mean, I was exhausted. And to go into a second session with Scott, especially like to try to bring that same intensity, same intention, and have another long seconds. I felt like I was just like running on empty, and me in my mind, I was eating enough. And so it helped with the energy. It helped with, yes, mental clarity. Absolutely. I remember I would be driving home, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, maybe 7, and like falling asleep at the wheel because I was just so exhausted. And it wasn't because I wasn't sleeping necessarily enough. It was just, I just had no fuel. Like my body was shutting down. And when it comes to recovery, I mean, yes, the training is hard and the days are hard, but I went from like always being exhausted and tired and fatigued and sore to, every night, yes, I get sore like any other hard training session, but nothing compared to just the everyday soreness or everyday flare-ups and inflammation and chronic things that were happening often.
What's your You want to talk to Jason Hopper?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk to him. I do. When we're done talking to him, though, I do want to know about your go-to carbs. Say hi to Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Who are you talking to?
She's saying hi, Jason. I'm
He probably
talking to.
doesn't know
She says you don't know him. She says you don't know her. Her name is Firuza Saghafi. Firuze Saghafi.
He might know her.
You beat my.
He says, wait, hold on. She wants to say one thing to you. Hold on, Jason. Go ahead. Just tell him. I'll translate to him.
You beat my training partner at the MAC.
Oh, she says you beat her training partner at the MAC. And who is her training partner, Hopper? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Scott
Panchik.
Wow.
But Fee, tell him what happened at the games.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the guest appearance.
Hey, I gotta tell you something later. Call me back.
Okay, bye. What is your go-to carb? Like you said, you like carbs, and it's eating away at my soul. What is your go-to carb?
Love carbs. Go-to carbs. I drink UCAN and eat UCAN products. So UCAN, it's a super starch. Starch carbohydrate. It's a bigger carbohydrate in your system, so you're actually able to use that energy for a longer sustainable time versus any like caffeine, for example. You consume caffeine, you have this very limited window where you're on this caffeinated high, and then you completely have that crash. So I've been using UCAN for just over a year. Actually, Scott introduced it to me, and he introduced it to me during the 2020 season, where like the games were happening and then they got canceled, and then things were happening and then they got canceled. And this is kind of the year he was on Team Mayhem Freedom, and we were just training hard. We were just training hard without actually having some end competition goal. And he introduced UCAN to me because he needed he got introduced to it by his chiropractor, our chiropractor. And I just remember going through sessions with Scott, and we would go through the second session and he would just be crushing it, like same intensity as the first session. And for a while I was like just doing my own thing. And then he eventually gave me some carbs to drink, and I was just like, this is insane. Like the amount of, it was more.
What does it look like? Is it a powder or is it a goo or is it? It's a powder.
Yeah, they have a couple. Their super starch formula. They do it in powders, like energy powders or protein powders. They have an Edge Fuel, which is almost like a goo, right? If you need that like super like dense kind of goo liquid immediately, just like marathon runners or those triathletes that use similar products, which they have that. They also have energy bars, granola. They have different products, and I use all of it. And I feel like I have carbohydrates all day, whether I'm drinking them or eating them in some way. But throughout the training sessions, and when you're in between training sessions, you're trying to get fuel in as efficiently as you can. So I do drink a lot of there's UCAN super starch powders.
Are you sponsored by them?
Yes, actually, I signed with them in April.
So you're using their product first, and then you signed with them.
Yeah, I was taking.
Did you reach out to them and you're like, "Yo, I like your shit. Hook me up."
I pretty much. So I was using it for a year, and then my agent Cooper. I told Cooper Marsh. I was like, "We gotta connect with UCAN. Like, I've been using their products. I mean, I was using Scott's." So like what he gets at the gym, I was just like stealing away and sneaking some UCAN.
Is Scott sponsored by them?
Yeah, he was actually he was one of their first CrossFit male athletes on that side. So yeah, he was definitely, and then he introduced it to me and kind of
And how do you keep us? But do you have to be nice? Like, how do you keep us? But do they have rules for you of things you can and can't say? I'm honestly curious because like how come I can't get a sponsor? I want a sponsor from Ancestral Supplements. I love their shit. I use it all the time. I want a sponsorship from the best shoes on the planet, Victos. They're basically the Nano 2s. Only place you can still get Nano 2s, but they're called Victos Core. I want to get the Sogo Snacks jerky with no sugar.
You could,
like
though.
you
Like,
guys, I love your shit. Hook me up. But they don't. But it could be just the shit I say. I'm wondering if it's just like because like my mouth is just like out of control.
You know who they sponsor?
Who?
Talking Elite, Sean Woodland, and
who does?
Tommy Marquez.
Who does? Oh yeah. I can't have them. Because carbs disgust me. They're the source of all vile. They're the reason why humanity's in such a bad place. Refined carbohydrates and added sugar.
Refined. Yeah.
This is not a sponsor, but I use their shit too. It's like, yo, sponsor me.
Sevan, you have a notepad there?
I do.
We'll write these numbers. Write these numbers down. Ready?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. 4th, 4, 7, 7, 5th. 4th, 4th, 7th, 7th, 5th.
7, 7, 5. That's 5 numbers you gave me. 4, 4, 7, 7, 5.
Yep. And compare those.
Is that her phone number since we don't have it?
Yeah. Yep. You have to guess the rest of the digits. Guess the rest of the digits.
Okay.
And then compare those 5 numbers to 11th, 1st, 6th, 6th, 9th.
Oh, I see what we're doing. These are finishes that she took in a semifinals or a regional.
One of them is finishes from 5 events that she did at the semifinal, and the other one is from an athlete who finished 4th at the same competition, and finished in the top 10 at the games, I think.
And it's at the same competition?
Yeah. So which one of those do you think would have placed higher?
God, just from a quick look, the 4, 4, 7, 7, 5.
Yes. Which are those are Fee's finishes, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And the other one was Amanda Barnhart. But Amanda Barnhart made the games and Fee did not.
What year? This year? This
year. I omitted one event, the first event. So if you add to the bottom numbers, you add a 6th for Amanda and you add 21st for Fee.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
She
now
brought it
I
up
would pick Amanda's numbers.
because Fee mentioned earlier that sometimes the weightlifting holds her back. So that first event was the snatch, 1 rep max snatch.
Oh, Nelly.
And the reason why I thought that'd be fun to do that little experiment is because we remember 2 years ago when CrossFit said, well, now we found the fittest, so we'll test strength. And so this year they tested strength at a lot of the semifinals in order to have the opportunity to prove that you were the fittest. So just to, people always ask the ordering of events, do the number of events, do the events that are selected matter? And we can see right there, if that one event wasn't there, Fee's number is probably good enough to carry her through. Add in one event, one test that she's not as good at, and it's not good enough.
Fee is hot as fuck.
Wild.
Northside Champ 16. It's interesting. Let's just play this game real quick here. So, what is your best strength event? Do you have a best strength event?
Yeah, I would say, I guess like raw strength event. I can't say I consider like anything raw strength, like 1 rep maxes. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like is weighted pull up considered a strength event? I'm trying to think. Is there anything she could beat?
All day.
I know you love a pull up. The thing is true. Like part of me goes, yeah, I like what Brian's saying, and I really like this. But on the other hand, is like, dude, like, can Fee actually beat Amanda Barnhart in any strength event?
Depends how you test it.
I mean, Amanda looks like a Clydesdale.
I want to jump in on that.
Okay.
I want to jump in on that because, so training with Scott is something that is incredibly hard. But one of the things that we hammer at is a lot of conditioning, a lot of volume, a lot of high skill gymnastics, a lot of, long endurance pieces or longer endurance pieces. And one of the things that he also is great at is strength. And so when I'm following someone that doesn't need to prioritize strength, he's fine with a 300-pound snatch, 375 clean and jerk. And he's okay there, and he could probably do that extremely exhausted every time. And so for these last years, I have always done what Scott does, and what Scott does, it has always been what's best for him, and he's always been my training partner and my mentor, and it's gotten me this far, which I'm so like, it's incredible, this journey. But and this is kind of where gears need to shift for me, where I need to start dedicating time in, you know, the strength realm, where I just haven't, because of the program that I followed, which was obviously everything that Scott did. And strength was a big thing that I just didn't focus on. And when you don't focus on it, when it comes up, it's just going to be what it is. And that's kind of one of those things that I was clearly exposed at the MAC in the strength event, and in the last chance qualifier. It was kind of one of, I was excited for the last chance qualifier, but I knew there was going to be a strength event, and it was just going to be what it was. And unfortunately, I took a very low hit on that, and I just couldn't make up for it. So
I tried to pull some numbers from last chance to see if I could have a similar comparison, but really Emma and Christy were so much more consistent than everyone else that, like, that's just, I think they were going to make it kind of no matter what.
Yeah, I knew I had to take, like, I would have to have taken, more people would have needed to get in between, on top of getting like first in the last two events would have needed to happen. But I'm actually, off season is going to be looking more towards strength building and putting on some mass. And I think it's possible to, you know, weigh 135 and lift the same, if not more, as maybe a heavier athlete with a good foundation. I don't think it's impossible.
I love it how you bring Scott up, by the way. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I was going to say, definitely not. You know, Cody Anderson's a great example of that. Like, it's possible.
Oh, that was horrible. That wasn't, you didn't want him to say that, Fee.
Why?
I don't know, man. Because his problem still persists.
What are you talking about? He outlifts tons of guys that are heavier than him.
How about this? Emma Carey with that 200-pound snatch at the Granite Games.
There we go.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Ryan, why is Greg Glassman's picture in the fourth square? I'm just curious. You like him, or you just paying tribute?
I just thought it was funny.
Oh, okay. Fine. Yeah, and Nancy W says this is hilarious. Do y'all see it or just me? Greg's photo. David Alvarez, Sevan with an O, which is fine. You can say it, spell it however you want. Sevan. Why is Greg not saying nothing? He is muted. Tell Brian to. Oh shit. Okay. David Alvarez again. Sevan, is Fee on the picture promos for the advertisement on UCAN? I am looking on Amazon. Do you know if they use your zitless face for the promo for that product?
Actually, we need to work on some content.
Right.
I'm not on there yet. I don't think so, but
UCAN, they want her. Maybe. They want her face on a jar of the poison. I mean the athlete performance enhancer. And
gold.
Stephen Rushing, the shoe is called, I think it's the Core shoe, and the brand is Victos, and it's for man feet. If you want your toes to be able to not be all smashed and bound like the Japanese women of the turn of the century, then those are the shoes for you. If you want to be like the rest of the Americans who talk shit about Japanese foot binding and yet buying their own feet in the same moment, then just go back to wearing Metcons or whatever those shoes are that smash your feet. Chelsea Liddy, hi Sevan, acknowledge me. You are acknowledged.
This must be so fun. I wish I could see the comments.
You can. So if your Cooper would have been kind enough to share your phone number with us, like we do with most of our guests, we would have texted you, and then we'd be on the same text thread, and then Ryan could text you a link to the YouTube page. But the problem with giving us your phone number is then you have to deal with Brian texting you all the time about games data and stats, like at midnight, being like, I noticed that your weight is not correct on the games page. Yes. He'll be a gentleman at all times, I promise you. But
I'm sure. Maybe I could FaceTime you like Jason.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. I would love it. The more people that FaceTime me, the better. They've kind of, because I really am uncomfortable with FaceTiming.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're turning the corner on that.
Thank you, Brian. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I'm uncomfortable with a lot of things that I do. I'm uncomfortable with female guests, and
What?
yeah. So like,
This is fun for me.
oh,
I like
good.
this.
Okay, good. But I'm just working on it. Like we got to face our fears, right? There's this
day.
girl I follow. I think her Instagram is at CF Kate, and she's pretty
Kate
Oh,
Gordon
yeah.
down in Australia.
and she's
Yeah,
pretty
I've seen her
wild,
too.
man. Like, but she posts
She's
all sorts
fun.
of she's fun. She's fun as shit, and she posts all sorts of wild stuff and about basically just her views on relationships. I can't tell if like, and her most recent thing is like, and I kind of watch her from afar, but she recently like posted a picture of this guy and his face is all pixelated, and she's basically saying like, hey, I have an open relationship with this guy and I was never going to tell you his name, but now I want to tell you his name and I want to talk about it. Like, it's kind of, that's cool. Like, she's like, she's at an age where she's having open relationships and she's exploring it and sharing this experience, which could be like very intense and emotional, right? An open relationship with the world to kind of like watch. And I made a comment on there like what's his Fran time or something funny. I was trying to be funny. Or does he squat below parallel? I can't remember exactly what I said. But then people are like, you should have her on the show. Oh, fuck, I can't have her on the show. I'm terrified of her. I follow her on Instagram. Like, I wish I would have never come. What?
We should definitely have her on. There's a tons of great
You
topics and
should
context.
have
She
Oh
trains
my God.
She trains at Rob Forte's
Imagine
gym.
the
We can make it work.
I don't know.
I've never met her, but she seems like I love like when didn't she have a wild like clean and jerk experience? She's like getting the crowd all pumped up. I think that's who.
Yeah, the
you guys were
Torian
at,
Pro.
right?
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh,
same
she's
guy.
that good?
Oh,
Yes.
oh, yeah.
She's very
Oh,
good.
yeah, she's
Oh, I
great
just
athlete.
I just follow her because of the sex talk stuff. I didn't know even she was that good. Well, and I
Pumps up
anyway,
the
yeah.
crowd.
That's awesome. You do all the talking. I'll have to do steroids before she came on the show. I got to like prep myself.
I think she would be an entertaining guest, and yes, she does CrossFit, but there's definitely some other stuff we could talk to her about. That'd be cool.
How did you end up with an agent? Why did you get an agent?
Oh my gosh. Well, I actually got connected to Cooper through Amanda. So
Amanda Barnhart?
Barnhart, yes, super sweet. We've actually like it's been so cool kind of building friendships through the sport, and that she's one of them, and she's just a sweetheart, and she thought of me as someone that might need that help and that assistance throughout the year as things were picking up for me. Opportunities were coming my way, and I think she pretty much just threw my name out there to Cooper, and she connected us. And Cooper actually, he first started, we chatted, we connected, and he got me the opportunity with Reebok. And he kind of initiated that bridge. And I mean, opportunities have been so incredible and just an honor, and that's how we got connected, pretty much through Amanda. So
Do you have to drink Good Dudes if you're represented by Cooper?
no, I don't have to, but he does send me some really good coffee, which I actually finished that within like I think a week. I remember when he sent me some coffee, the Good Juice coffee.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was? Which flavor was it? Which kind? Do you remember? Was it Roosevelt?
No. Oh, it was a name. It was a name. Is there another one? Maybe it was that.
There's a Roosevelt. There's a Lincoln. There's a Samson. There's a Reagan.
I think it was Roosevelt.
Don't forget Patton. There's a Patton.
Because I remember.
Oh, thank you,
like,
Patton.
that's interesting. Who knows? It must have been. It was a medium roast. I think I was a medium roast.
Man, it's good. It's so strong. I drink way too much.
Months ago. Well, it's funny because I ended up posting a picture of it without. I hadn't known it was Cooper, or Cooper was. He was part of that company or owns that company, and I posted it on Instagram, and he like messaged me or liked it, and I was like, "Oh, this coffee's amazing." And then he goes, "Yeah, Fee, I'll send you some. That's like my company."
Yeah, it's. I could be wrong. Maybe it is Cooper's company. I always thought it was Josh Bridges, but it probably is. It probably is Cooper's company, and Josh probably just gets paid to advertise it. My bad.
Yeah, or maybe they have some kind of partnership there, but.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so that's how.
Anyway, it's great.
Really
it's great coffee. I buy it all the time.
They
should sponsor me too. Yeah, fuck
they
those
should.
guys. Yep, I agree.
If anyone should probably be them. You probably mention them on 95% of the shows.
Yandy.
I'll connect you. I'll hook you.
Yandy, take my mom's name out of your mouth, boy. Don't ever say Rosemary again.
but yeah, Cooper has been incredible. So I've been with Cooper. Cooper's been on my team since it was actually in March, since February, just around February, and it's been so incredible. And he was actually keeping me sane at the MAC as well, where I was so sick at the MAC, and he was like running around crazy, trying to make sure I was like getting what I needed, medical attention, and just like probably stressed. One of the most stressed guys, and he was there taking care of Amanda. And
what ended up being the problem with your stomach? What ended up being, so for people who don't know, at the MAC, just out of nowhere, Fee felt like just barfing her brains out. And did you really feel like shitting your pants? And you tell the story, you felt like barfing your brains out because shitting your pants is too graphic?
No. Actually, okay. It was all like nausea. It was all nausea.
Okay.
And throwing up.
Did you think you were pregnant? Did you think you were pregnant?
That was never an issue because.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Yeah, that was never an issue.
Okay. Just checking.
But I was asked that actually by many people because I mean, that's the question to ask for a woman when that's happening. But what happened? Well, I guess I don't know exactly why I got very, very sick. I know it wasn't food poisoning because the food that I was eating, I was also like, my boyfriend was eating it, and he wasn't getting sick. I did change something in my routine that I typically, and I don't necessarily recommend ever changing something in your routine. And I got vaccinated, a couple weeks prior. And that was the only thing that I could think of that might have caused some sickness, some nausea, some effects, that 2 weeks after. And I remember I had made sure to talk to enough medical professionals to make that choice. And eventually that's what I chose. And where again, it's hard to pinpoint why, but it was the only thing that I could really think of. That was the only thing that I changed, was 2 weeks out from competing. I had chosen that. And sure enough, that week, it was, I don't know if this is TMI, but
no.
It was that time of the month for me. As well as competing, and that never happens. From one day to the next, I remember Thursday night, I was in extreme stomach pain, like pain that I've never experienced ever in my life before, pretty much. It was like cramps times 10. And I called my chiropractor. He was in town. He competes. He travels when we compete as much as we can. So I called him. He rushed over. He was doing some treatment, and the entire night I was like sweating. I was up. I wasn't sleeping, and I eventually woke up at like 10:30, and that never happens either. I'm never waking up that late. And I took a walk outside just to get some fresh air because things weren't feeling good. And I just remember a truck just passing by, just the smell of gasoline, and that was like the trigger, and I just threw up.
Pregnant. You were pregnant. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's pregnant shit. I really want to blame the vaccine. Yes, you're right, Mitch. Never too much information for Sevan. I really want to blame the vaccine, but you're fucking pregnant. If a truck drove by and you fucking wanted to vomit, you were pregnant. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. It's funny because I really want to pee and go play with my kids, but you opened up a great conversation. Okay, so here, let me. For starters, let's start with the most superficial question. How did your chiropractor come? Where was the MAC? Where was the MAC? Isn't that in Atlanta?
Knoxville.
Where is it?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
What was your chiropractor doing there? What was your chiropractor?
We were competing, so he
comes with you.
Yeah,
is it Ryan?
Code Chiro, Dr. Chad Teague.
Okay, so she's a real athlete. She brings a chiropractor with her.
Wait, why do I know that name?
He was at the game. He's been traveling to the games every season, competitions as much as he can. We try to, we fly him out and support him, and he supports us and he's there for us, and it's incredible what he does. So he was there that weekend. He was taking care of us, and he was doing just some soft tissue work. Things had tightened up in my stomach, and he was trying to just maybe help me relax and release. And
did you throw up on him?
So I didn't. I actually didn't. I wasn't nauseous Thursday night. I was extremely nauseous Friday morning.
The competition started Friday morning?
No, it started actually Friday afternoon. I think around 2 or 3, maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere there.
What brand
So
of vaccine did you get? Did you get the Coca-Cola brand or the other ones?
I got Pfizer.
Oh, the Coca-Cola one. That's the Coca-Cola one because they got the CEO of Coke is on the board for Pfizer. Isn't that weird that the leading cause of probably type 2 diabetes and obesity is soft drinks, and that obesity is the number one correlate for premature death in the world, and yet the Coca-Cola CEO would be on the Pfizer board. It's mind-boggling to me. But
that's mind-blowing.
Okay, so and did you have both shots up to that point or just one?
I had 2. That was my second one. So that was my second shot.
But it was 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So if it was the vaccine, it was a hell of a delay. 2 weeks is a hell of a delay. And you're talking to a guy who wants to blame the.
But Sevan, you know as well as anyone.
The interesting thing was, there's information coming out on women experiencing effects on their menstrual cycle after having the vaccine. So
tons of stories, gazillions,
countless.
And it just so happened that was also what I was experiencing, and it was just nothing I experienced that weekend was something I ever experienced in general. So yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Well, you're only 27. You've only had about 500 menses, so you're still new to the game.
Yeah. Still very new. I'm only 27.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and you know what else is interesting about? Yeah, wow, I forgot all about that. The menses thing. That is huge. You're right, and you're saying something you never experienced before. Okay, I'm fully blaming the vaccine. That's awesome. Are we going to get picked up by the algorithm because I said the word vaccine 5 times? No, thank you, Ryan. So
and that was unfortunate. That was actually happening like hours before the event, and so then I thought maybe it was like a one and done, like just throw up once and maybe I'm good, and it just like kept happening, and we couldn't figure it out, so we were calling like the medical team. And
do you like when you see the date for the MAC, do you have a calendar? Like, do you calendar out your menses?
No,
you just roll with it.
Not at all.
Are they pretty normal?
I kinda know.
They're pretty normal?
Yeah.
Like like every 30 days or 28 days you guys are ready to have a baby?
Yeah, kind of like right. Pretty much. Like for me, everyone's so different. And sometimes athletes, women in sport in general, depending on training, depending on the level of stress of training on their body, some, miss their menstrual cycle and some are pretty consistent, and kind of everyone's so different. But mine, I've always been healthy. I've always been pretty consistent and feeling good. I don't really get nauseous or cramping, or my body doesn't fatigue as much as others. Like I really do and I train through it all the time. It's nothing that I'm not used to. So yeah, that was wild. And so come MAC, I knew I was gonna that was gonna be the time of the month. And
that's what I wanted to know. How long out before did you know? Like when did you know? When they released the date of the MAC, are you like, oh shit, I gotta call Sevan, the CEO of CrossFit, and get this shit changed? Like, were you thinking that?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I would have changed that shit for you if you would have called me.
I knew, but I appreciate that. Maybe next competition, if that ever happens. No, just normal, very normal. I train through that. That's kind of what you do. No different than any other training weekend. So
are you?
So yeah, I wasn't worried.
How is your only Is your performance by having your menses during performance or during the competition or during training, is it hindered or improved by it in terms of just your hormones? Like, is it a good thing, except it's just a pain in the ass because you have to deal with it? It's one more thing you have to deal with, or is it a bad thing all around? You feel like more drained and you have to deal with it.
No, I'm speaking just on how I feel. The first day is sometimes I get cramps, and sometimes the first day is always the most exhausting. Like your energy is kind of low, but it's never to the point where I can't train or I have to stay in bed or anything like that. But it is definitely you're just more tired. for me. I'm more tired. Second day, I feel like I just got a boost of like testosterone is kind of what I explain it as. So I almost like prefer to sometimes like
Yeah,
mix
that's what I was
something.
wondering. Like if you want to time
It's
that
the
shit
best
so
thing in
you
the
get
world.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, and I've definitely had moments where I'm in training, like I'm crushing it right now. Like Scott's like a couple reps behind me, like and not 30 in front of me. But yeah, like and then after the second day, for me, it's pretty much back to normal.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you ever tell Scott, like,
So
if you do beat him or you feel like you have a hormonal advantage afterwards, you're like, hey, dude, I cheated. Sorry.
yeah, it's funny. We've talked about how
WEDs, woman enhanced drugs.
Oh, that's probably, we could say that that's what it is now. He spends a lot of time with the girls, with strong girls, wife, Kinsley, me, a lot of the women coaches we would train, and he would have his girl time. Like we call it girl time. And he gets all the girl talk now. And before having Kinsley, I was like, oh, you're for sure going to be a girl dad. Like you have so many girls around you all the time. And he's more emotional. He knows when I have he knows when it's the time of the month. Like he gets all that every day, all the time.
If you're a man and you are not aware of your woman's cycle or whatever you want to call it, I don't know what the PC word is. You're fucking up. You should just mentally be aware. That means you don't have situational awareness. Like you suck at relationships if you're not aware of that shit. Now dealing with it and managing it is a whole different thing. That's like a lifetime practice.
Is it good enough if like all of a sudden she freaks out and you're like, hold on, before we go any further, is it that time?
Oh yeah, great first move. Hey, just say it every day for 30 days. Anytime she upsets you, just come forward with that one. Are you having your period? That's a winner. Oh man, you need to write a relationship book, Brian. That would be awesome. It's like just 2 pages. Written by Brian Friend, and then page 2.
2 sentences.
Yeah.
That's some good guy advice.
Fee, 2022 is the goal to go to the games?
Yes. It's the goal. No question, making it is the goal. No, it was not a fun time doing the last chance qualifier and having to like go through that, knowing that you're at your last leg of it and it might happen and it might not. That was not fun. So 2022.
Is it better for you that Scott may or may not, let's assume he's not going. Let's say he's not going. So I have this phone hooked up to the podcast now so people can call in. And I guess someone remembered the phone number and was trying to call in. Isn't that cool? We're like a real show now.
Cool.
No, you don't get to talk to Fee. Sorry, this isn't that show. It's just our Sunday show. We do a live Sunday show. Do you think it's better that Scott isn't going, or like is that gonna like kind of like pacify and pussify him, and like you need to switch to like Saxon or something, another Panchik who like wants to go to the game still, or is it a good thing because then maybe he can give you more attention? Like what is because he's changing his shit up, right? I mean, I see he's doing curls and shit and Kegel exercises.
He's definitely taking care of his knee. He's been in a lot of pain for a very, very long time, more than I think people realize. So he's definitely out of the training, and he's taking care of himself. I would be lying if I said I like didn't miss training with him and, getting excited to go train with Scott and kind of, push and grind it out together. That's definitely something that I no doubt in my mind has made me the athlete that I am, is because he's been leading me through, and I've been able to train next to one of the greatest athletes in the sport has come to know. But I'm very confident. I don't need him to train hard. I don't need him to work very hard and be diligent in what I love and what I love to do at the gym. But, and this is kind of that new chapter. He's not holding my hand, and I've learned so much from him. And one of the things I know he's going to continue to do is mentor me and train with me as much as I can. Maybe that means, popping in and checking in on a session and training alongside me. That's something maybe more appropriate for his knee rehabilitation right now. Fitness isn't going away for Scott. He's like way too obsessed, and he loves being fit and he loves feeling good, and we'll see where that goes. But I'm also very much known to like pull people in from my gym to join a training session. So I have a really good environment where I'm at. There's a lot of people that are very supportive, I just need people that want to work hard with me. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a games athlete. You don't have to be Scott. You don't have to be an elite caliber athlete. If I could get people that are training with me and they just want to work hard and they're doing things that are appropriate for them, and that still pushes me, then that's the best for me.
Chelsea, Liddy said, but heart disease is the #1 killer in the world. Don't be tricked by words, Chelsea. I don't know what you're suggesting, but there is no such thing as heart disease or type 2 diabetes. In the picture that I'm talking about, you have to think big picture. There is no heart disease if people don't eat too much added sugar, if people don't eat too much refined carbohydrates. There is no type 2 diabetes. Don't get confused, man. Do not get confused. All of that shit goes away. All of the coronavirus deaths go away. No one has died who doesn't eat added sugar or doesn't eat isn't addicted to added sugars or refined carbohydrates. Nobody. And on that note, you're a great person, Fee. Man, I'm excited for you.
Appreciate it, you guys.
I'm excited for you. Thanks for giving us
Thank
your
you.
energy, your time.
Thank you.
Brian, do you want to leave her with any like stat that
Well, there's only
Yes, I'm gonna get back to training. Give me something good.
as far as I know, I think there are only 2 athletes who've qualified for Rogue both years via the online qualifier. I think that Fee is one of them, and Colton Mertens is the other one. Are you going to give it a shot this year again?
I was so hoping they were gonna come out with either some backfill qualifier, and I was so bummed. That was the Rogue Invitational was one of my favorite ones, even though it went online last year because COVID. But they just always take so much care of their athletes and making sure that we had the equipment, the resources, the judges. They're paying their athletes professionally. I would have loved to compete a third year. Qualifying for it 2 times in a row was just, you get to compete with the best. All the athletes that go there are the best in the game already. And to be one of them is an honor. And I was very bummed. Rogue Invitational, if you want an extra spot, I'm here. I'm ready to do my job.
Yep. Well, you beat a couple
I did not get invited.
But you did beat a couple of the athletes who will be there this year, last year. So I think it would have been cool if they would have invited you and Colton, because you each are the only the one man and one woman who was able to do that. I'm pretty sure of that.
Wait a second. So they've already invited who's going to be for the Rogue Invitational, and no one else can go? That's it? It's done?
In the past, they had the qualifier, and they would have, I think, 15 invite spots and then the top 5 from the online qualifier. But it seems like they're not having a qualifier this year, and it's invite only, which I think is kind of a bummer.
I wish they had like a wild card.
Yeah.
Rogue Invitational had needed one more spot to have a wild card. Vote for Fee for wild card.
Damn.
How could there be
two thumbs down for this podcast? How could there be 2 thumbs down? Like, instead of turning it off, you went out of your way to give it a thumbs down? The fuck is wrong with people? All right. Ryan, thank you. You were amazing. Fee, you were amazing. Brian, you were better than amazing, like usual.
Love the stats. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and awesome. And mate, if you would like, in the email thread that you have going, if you share your phone number, we'll stay in contact through text. We do have a Sunday show that's going to be basically our news show, where we talk about just news events of the week, and every week it's going to be live, and James Hobart will be on the show presenting the news to us, and then we'll always have an athlete or some sort of guest on the show who comments with us. So that's another reason to share your phone number, so that we can bug you to be on that show on Sunday nights at 6:00.
Who was the guest for week 1?
It was Danielle Brandon. She did not show up, and then we were trying to get her back on this week, and she said she'd do it, but then she went MIA. So I think as of earlier today, we were going to have Medeiros do it, but who knows? Maybe it will be Fee.
Yeah, maybe she's more reliable.
Jesus Ramonis, Ramos,
Yes.
Sevan, why were you fanboying Rich Froning so hard? Listen to the show, buddy. Like I hadn't talked to him in 3 years. Like I was courting him again.
Who doesn't fanboy over Rich Froning though?
Thank you. By
Rich
the way,
Froning,
that's
great guy.
great guy. Thank you. You got my
Also
back.
great people. Great
Yes.
people over there. I gotta say.
Is Corbin back in here being a Debbie Downer? Who's Corbin? I don't know who Corbin is. Brandon Waddell, nah, he's quiet today, Jason. I don't know. This is all conversation over my head. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Ryan will disconnect us from the live, and then we will have a 30-second private chat.